Wait, let me look that up on the internet real quick.
TagCastPodcast.com.
And now it's time for the Tagcast Podcast with Terry and Gatch. My name's Terry Guile.
I don't like your jerk-off name. I don't like your jerk-off face. I don't like your jerk-off behavior. And I don't like you, jerk-off.
See, because I paid a lake for weed like in the 70s and I never got the real one back.
You just got tagged.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. May God have mercy on your soul.
And his name is Dustin Gatchell.
I heard in Hawaii, your spam email is your good email.
The Tagcast Podcast starts right now.
You gonna intro this first one?
Yeah, welcome to the Tagcast Podcast. Episode 6, right?
Yeah, episode 6.
Step right up. All right, so thanks for tuning in. It is Wednesday, hump day. And like I said, episode 6. Thanks you guys for listening. What do you got going on today, Gatch?
I don't have anything going on today. What'd you do this weekend?
This weekend, what'd I do? I played a show on last Friday, up at the Ash Street Saloon.
Oh, that's right, Bikini, right?
Yeah, it was our first show in Portland, and we played with Paper Train and a band called Idle Tap and Gnosis with a G.
I've put on a show with Paper Train before. Those guys are cool guys.
Yeah, he was pretty cool. It was kind of one of those weird things where he's like, dude, I've been waiting so long to meet you, because we never met, but we talked online and stuff, and he goes, can I get a picture with you out here? He's like, this dude's a badass guitar player, and I was like, never seen my band, but I know he's listened to the albums, and I appreciate it. It just made me feel kind of weird, but he was a cool dude, Zach, and they rocked for... they did about 45 minutes, and he said he was just getting warmed up. They like to play
longer sets.
So,
did he do his crazy rock moves?
No, I didn't see him rolling around. I went outside for a little while, but he may have. But then they had like 2 more songs that they wanted to play, and Heather kind of said, cut off. You're cut off. Yep. So he was kind of bummed about that, and there wasn't a ton of people, but it was a fun show. The Idle Tap band, I think they were from Portland, and they brought... in a pretty good crowd, but most of those people left after they were done, which was kind of a bummer. And I try to stress that, when you go out to a show, or if you're putting on a show, or your band's playing a show, I hate when people ask when you're playing, I think they should just go out to the whole show. They just say it starts at this time and it gets done. Come out and support the whole thing. And it is,
when somebody asks you that, because you want to support the other bands, especially as a band member yourself, and it's just... Right. And, I even watch the whole show because, if one band is good, you can guarantee the other 3 are going to be good too, And
I feel even bad sometimes when I'm in a band and I have to be outside getting my stuff and, or if I go outside to visit with friends, I like to be in there to support the bands at all times, but it's not always possible, because sometimes you got...
And sometimes it just feels like a giant house party like it does down at the Dixie Creek in Tangent.
Yep. I heard you went down there on Saturday.
I went down there, I went and saw Sick Man, the Alice in Chains tribute band from Eugene.
Now, I had seen on the flyer that it was supposed to be unplugged, but from the pictures I saw...
I don't think it was unplugged.
No.
In fact, they had...
I think they wanted it to be because Cascade Rye and Strange Dichotomy.
I miss Cascade Rye, unfortunately. I heard good things about them. But the Sick Man, I always wonder if Alice in Chains of Lane Staley stubbed his toe when he did that one song. Ow!
Yeah.
Ow!
Like maybe
they
he
sounded
stubbed
great, man. It brought me right back to the days when that, music was out and on the summer days, pumping the Alice in Chains. I thought they sounded really great. And they had Floyd from Forrestal's Folly came up and played like 2 or 3 songs with them on guitar.
He did,
and even overlapping Carl. Standard as Carl came on stage, they had, 3 guitars going on for a while?
Yeah, I seen some pictures from Black Forest and saw that Carl was playing with them, and I asked if he was in the band. I don't think he really is, but he sets in with them.
Yeah,
I was like, man, that Gibson is sweet. Is that yours? He has a nice Gibson Les Paul.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
It was fantastic seeing a lot of people there, too, so it was a good show.
Right on. I wanted to go, but I was up at the Helium Comedy Club, wasting my time at the competition. No, it wasn't.
How
a
did
way.
that go?
I could say, I lost, but no, I had a great attitude. I did not make it through, but the competition was so stiff, it was like ridiculous. I don't know if any of our listeners are familiar with Anthony Lopez, but he is one funny dude. He has a speech impediment, and he's half Mexican, and he kind of talks like Elmer Fudd a little bit, but he is just hilarious. He has this bit about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and another one about Rubik's Cube. You got to go check out Anthony Lopez. He was one of the finalists, as well as Will Woodruff, which we're familiar with. Will, yeah, he made it through. And let me see if I can remember. His name is, it's coming to me, his name is Cody McKiller. I can't say his last name because he changed it. His name was Cody Smith. Still is. But if you Google Cody Smith, like 100 people come up. So he changed his stage name to his middle name is his last name. So anyway, I'd seen him before in Eugene. He's a real funny dude. And I thought that was kind of funny. Dennis Williams was also in the competition, who was a finalist in the last competition I was in. He came in second at that Willamette Valley's Funniest Person thing. Nice. And him and Cody are roommates, and they just ended up in the same pool, swimming together as comics. No, they had to go up against each other. Oh, wow. And they're roommates. So one of them made it and the other one didn't. So I was just wondering if they're still friends. No, I'm just kidding. But no, it was a great night. I had a good set. I did watch the video afterwards, and while I did get good reactions and whatnot, I need to slow down. Yeah. I go on and keep talking when people are laughing. I need to give them a chance to laugh. And also, I had my set all planned out. You have to do at least 4.5 minutes and not more than 6. Actually, a couple people win a few seconds over, and that deducts points. Actually, it adds points because their judging system was kind of unique. I'd never seen it. They give you the list of paper with all the 11 comedians on it, and you have to put them in order from 1 to 11.
Oh, I see.
And so the person with the lowest score is the winner because they add up your score. So if you had all ones, then you'd only have, well, there was over 150 people there, which was awesome to do a set in front of 150 people. And yeah, it was pretty cool. Tough competition, though. There was only one girl, and she was real funny, too, but she didn't make it through. So they're going to have 24, I think, when they get all down to it, and $1,000 grand prize. So it was a good experience, though, getting to hang out in the green room with those comedians that I kind of look up to, who have been doing a lot longer than me. All the guys that did qualify have been at it for years, you know. Will's been doing it about 6 years, and he had a great set. I mean, not that he doesn't always, but I've heard of most of his stuff, and I was still, cracking up at some of the jokes that I'd already heard before. But
so I got mine coming up on Thursday, and I have not prepared at all. I'm thinking of bailing.
Well, there was a couple no-shows. Actually, the night that I did it, there was one guy. And it was weird. His name was Token.
At worst,
his name was just Token. So
at worst, I'm just donating $20 to the prize pool, and I don't feel bad about that. I mean, I'd hate to let down the people that want to go and see me show, but I just don't have any material.
Yeah, and the lady was my jokes real, like she
it's
said,
all on me though for not preparing.
She said, once you get to 4.5 minutes, then you're officially in the competition. She goes, if you don't go 4.5, then you're pretty much, they're not going to go up there and say, this guy's disqualified. But
yeah, they'll let you still roll, but, but I still don't have anything. I mean,
and like I was saying.
Was there anybody up there, like, reading off paper?
Nope.
Yeah,
nope.
So.
And there was a couple guys that you could tell were new that hadn't been doing it, and they were a little bit,
But they probably at least, read their 5-minute set,
they did their thing, and like I said, I should have slowed down because by the time I got to the end, the light comes on in the back. There's a red light, and it comes on in the competition. It comes on at 4.5 minutes to tell you you've made it past. You're in the competition now, and then it comes on again at 5:45, which gives you 15 seconds to get off the stage. Now, if you go over 6 minutes, each second adds a point. So if you go over 10 seconds, then that's 10 more points added to your score, which is going to, drag you down. Yeah. They said actually some people were close enough to have been finalists, and then they went over, and it kept them from being a finalist, just from going over. So she was real strict on that and saying that if you don't do 4.5, you're not even in. And when I got done with my stuff, I had to go into my brain and think of what's my funniest, it kind of sucked because I really wasn't ready for it because the light hadn't came on yet, and I was kind of done with my set because I rushed through it. And then I told my newest corny joke, and I'll share it with you, but it's corny. You might appreciate it because you love corny jokes. It's Maisie, dude. It's an amazing joke. Listen to it. Okay, if you help someone steal a belt or a purse, does that make you an accessory as well? And they're like, oh, it was a groaner. And it wasn't even nasty. You know, usually if you get a groaner, it's like, yeah, I stuck my fucking stump in her cunt or something. You're like, oh, you're like, did you hear that reaction? I almost got an applause break. But yeah, so I had to go in and I did my deaf joke and I was just kind of pulling stuff off the top of my head and
well, it was a good experience for you. And
it was wonderful.
I don't know if it'd be a positive experience for me if I just go out there with nothing and I have to do 4.5 minutes.
Right.
If it's not going to be a positive experience for me,
you'll get up there and tell one joke. You're like, hey,
and then just stand there.
And in Hawaii, I heard your spam emails are good emails.
Yeah, and then just
they'll
be shocked into never wanting to do it again. And then be like, boo. I don't want that.
Get off the stage, you stupid Indian.
Oh, well, I want to evoke that. I just want to be prepared with the material.
Yeah, I would definitely not recommend. I was really surprised that you had entered, which... that's one way to get yourself to do it on a whim, and you never know.
It didn't help me
prepare.
But
to do a competition of this caliber for your second time.
I'm fine with it, too,
Yeah. And this has got to let all the listeners know, if you're planning on going up tomorrow to see Gatch, go to see someone else. Because if you mention it,
I encourage you to go out and see some comedy either way, though.
Yeah.
We support the local comedy.
Actually, the night before, on Friday, there was... only 7 people show up for a 10-person group. So
wow.
It's not unheard of. People.
Well, I did check the actual event that the Helium put on Facebook. I was the only one going. Still.
Of theirs? For
tomorrow's
Yeah, but all
date.
the comics have been making their own pages saying, come support.
Yeah, that's true, too.
Stephanie Pirtle's on your night as well.
Yeah. I know I wouldn't be getting through. I was just thinking about the experience, but
I knew. And I said that to people, and they're like, "Dude, you're funny," and I was like, "Well, I know, but you don't know who I'm going up against." And these people have been doing it for years.
They got their tight little 5-minute set.
A lot of them have day jobs, but they still do it like unrelentingly. And there was a weird story, and we got to talk about it backstage. A guy who's a headliner and. I don't know. I don't even care. He's not going to be listening to this, and I don't even know the guy. But his name's Ron Osborne, and the people I talked to, they didn't really have that many good things to say about the dude. He's been doing comedy for over 20 years, and he was in a Doritos commercial, so he's an actor.
Jay Leno?
Is Ron Osborne. Anyway, he took this kid with him over to Pendleton to do some shows, some paid shows as a headliner, and he brought this guy as his feature act. And the guy, bombed a little bit. And didn't do the full amount of time. So the headliner had to do a longer set and this and that. And so the guy ripped on him on stage.
Yeah, extended his set by ripping on him.
Exactly, and saying, man, that guy was terrible. I just want everybody to know that my set has nothing to do with the previous act. I'm not affiliated with it anymore. And sending him mean text messages. Well, the long of the short of it, or whatever you say, the dude left him in Pendleton.
Oh, really? Wow.
After he said, if I'm going to keep doing that, if you're going to keep being a dick, then I'm going to leave you. And he kept being a dick, so he left him. And then there was a big thing, and then there was a thing on the Portland Comics Board about asking whether you should ditch someone even if they're being a dick. And everybody has different opinions. Most people said I would be professional about it, and he would get a ride home, but he would not enjoy his ride home in my car. For 4 hours or however long it takes to get to Pendleton. So that was kind of a weird situation. I got to get into because the guy that left him was competing in the next round, and that's Tim Hammer. He's a real funny kid too. And everybody has good stuff to say about Tim. I've met him a few times, and I've seen him perform. The time I did Helium before, he performed that night, and he's got some real funny stuff. He's more of a one-liner kind of guy, and he's real kind of quiet and kind of talks like this a little bit. But he's a good kid, and he stood up for what he thought he should do, and I think that's pretty awesome. But also, in the same sense, it would suck to get stranded in Pendleton when, I mean, you can get a ride home, I'm sure, but... So, that was a little side note that we got to talk about there at Helium.
I was at a Super Bowl party one time, and I'm a Raiders fan, and the Raiders are playing against Tampa Bay. And, there's quite a bit, Pat and Ron, Raiders fans.
Pat Wambacher. We'll call him later.
Our friend Derek
Terrell.
Yeah, he's a Colts fan, and he just got loaded drunk. And started rooting on.
This
Tampa
must have been
Bay
on a day that ended in Y.
While Tampa Bay, was destroying the Raiders.
Oh, he got mad that day, didn't he?
And he was just like, rubbing it in, and he's not even a Tampa Bay fan. And it came down to Pat just pretty much having to tell him, hey.